that shit, dude. Hashtag fresh ears, fresh eyes, bro.
Hashtag it.
We're starting that
Fresh
shit.
ears, fresh eyes. Welcome back to Highly Animated Podcast. I'm your co-host Jason, still my co-host Spencer.
Hey, what's going on?
You know, and we got this little music intro leading into the show. Yeah, oh shit's right, dumbass.
What the fuck was I supposed to do there? I didn't realize you were like, oh yeah, I gotta get into it right away. I thought you usually go.
So, you know, we're keeping all this in. I don't give a fuck. You know, no, fuck that shit. We're keeping this in. This is take 2, and we're rolling. We're rolling with it. Sorry, guys. This is our sloppiest intro to date. What we're trying to do here to explain to you guys all the podcasting end on our end. We have our buddy Dylan who's making some riffs for us on his guitar, and we're trying to add drums and shit to it. So there's a new one right at the beginning. You'll hear it. We want to know what you guys think. And it's going to constantly change. What do you want to hear, Spencer? What kind of music would be like, you know, hey, this is a sweet fucking intro? That's what I wanted to know earlier.
Yeah, I think, you know, we following up off the last episode, it definitely maybe pointed to what we're more into musically, what you like to hear at a show. I think one of the big things we stress that, right, is also about the animation and the pictures and you know, the graphics that go with it as you're kind of hearing,
the emotion,
hearing that noise. But I think for us too, trying to get into an intro, and obviously, you know, we had some music playing, I think, in episode 1, right? And it was just some pre-recorded free fucking track you found out off the website.
Shout out to Pat.
Not you, but Pat. Yeah,
he found that for us.
And
yeah, not me.
You know,
fuck you.
And we wanted to, it was you specifically. It was, you know, it's just.
Yeah.
Anyway, so now we're trying to curtail to, you know, maybe a little heavier, maybe. I don't know that we specifically have a sound that we're looking for. We're just looking for something that sounds good, you know. And so
this is
our first. Yeah, this is the first. We're like, okay, hey, we're making progress. We're getting there. We're on the right track. So, and obviously, there's been a few other iterations prior that haven't necessarily, you know, show worthy.
Met either of our standards. No, I'm not leaving you out to dry here, Dylan. We love you, buddy, and you know, but we're looking for we're building together. Be better. And yeah, so that's a fair point you bring up. I love how you brought up last episode. And a lot of people out there, right? Music is mood based, right? So maybe when you hear our show, you're like, oh, I'm not in the mood for that, so maybe it throws you off. Like this one is a little more bluesy, right? I guess would be the easiest way to kind of describe it.
Well, I think something that would be common throughout all of them would have been that they were all fairly fast paced, quick, upbeat, kind of, you know, not necessarily like in your fucking face, but you know, something that, you know, you start foot tap, you start head nodding, whatever you do when you start to groove to something that you're listening to. And I think that's kind of where we started getting, you know, with what we got here. He comes in with some nice, you know, chords and getting the progression going, the rhythm going, starting to get some of that background noise, drums, you know, and we're working on that, work in progress. So.
And to shout out Dylan even more here, like what we're doing on our podcasting end, right? Like me and Spencer learn new stuff every day, like how to enhance this and make it better for you guys out there. I love how we're talking about music this whole beginning. Might as well make a music podcast. This is an anime podcast for all of you big anime fans out there that might be listening to us. So we will get to that, I promise. But from Dylan's end, the Sonos that he used, the Studio One, there is so much shit. Like when I've been using, right, for ours, been using OpenShot Editor. And it's a process. There's stuff to learn, but and again, I'm no expert, but I've gotten it down to a point where I feel pretty comfortable with it. It would take me way longer to get what Dylan's got to do to get down. It is in fucking depth. And obviously it's hella different instruments and how you play with those sounds, but it's fun. So me and him, we hang out on Fridays. Obviously I told you off air, tell everyone now. We hang out on Fridays, and we're trying to get you guys a really smooth intro. So make sure you hit those, you know, comments. You know, you can go, right, what we got Twitter, We got Discord. We got Instagram. We're gonna have Reddit up soon enough. We got YouTube. You know, not all of our videos there yet, but I'm working on it. Drop a comment, guys. Like that's what's gonna drive us forward, so we can have more ideas for these shows. Because we've talked about it before, right? We're a little bit off the cuff here. We're just going kind of based on what we like. And to jump into not necessarily what we like, but the premise, right? I was telling Spencer here.
Well, a quick second. I think even too before that,
Yeah.
maybe we get enough views, we get enough comments, whatever, and we drop earlier iterations of what we're looking for, what we got from
Oh,
Dylan as far
okay.
as what we're
Yeah,
gonna put out, right? Just be like, hey, you
that's
want to
smart.
hear before that? All right, well, you better make this shit happen. Let your people know. Make sure your people's people know, and
Your
get it
people's
going.
people, your cousins, your aunties, fucking everyone, dude. That's a fair point. Yeah. Thanks for cutting me off there. But the idea behind this show, if you've listened to our other episodes, we're using the word blur the line, right? The taboo that's surrounding it. Those are the hot button words, I guess you can call them. A lot of people are gonna listen to this and still, regardless, probably not watch anime. But I find that interesting, and I'll speak for you, Spencer, and you can tell me if I'm wrong or not. You find that interesting too, and we're trying to don't want to be cocky here and say we're going to try to drive and steer this conversation, but we've listened to enough other podcasts, or done some research, and we're continuing to do it on other anime podcasts. That's not really the direction they're going, and I want to convey to people like, hey, you can watch an episode of all the shows out there and find something you like. I almost guarantee it. What is it going to take, though, to get you to watch it or to get you to talk about it just in general, like why you don't like it? That's what I'm looking for. Well, what's
Yeah,
something that you're looking for?
yeah, I think that's a great point. I think the willingness first to be able to get into it, come in, open mind. The open mind is a huge thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Especially today, everyone's like, "Oh, you gotta be open minded about this. You gotta be open minded about this, right? We're pretending these people are these people, and you do this and you do that, whatever makes you happy, right? But honestly, when you come into it from a standpoint, and we've mentioned it time and time again, right? If you can get past that, it's an animation, that it's not necessarily real people out here. Behind the scenes is still all real people. You have the voice actors; they're still having to do it. Like, how many people are going to be on here? I fucking hate Toy Story. You know how much fucking work goes into Toy Story, like
Yep.
Pixar movies, Disney. The early
All the DreamWorks.
yeah, not
Yeah.
Disney, how
Mm-hmm.
Disney is now, maybe, but like OG Disney movies, like that's a lot of fucking work, and that's what these guys are doing. And if anything, they're doing it on a higher level because then you start factoring fight scenes, different crazy animations, trippy shit, mindfuck shit, like
More adult in a lot of them too. Like,
yeah,
yeah, there's
oh
some
for
adult
sure.
overtones in some of these Disney movies and stuff, and like the message that's being portrayed, but more so,
Yeah,
right? In
yeah,
anime, I
Disney
would say.
movies, Disney and Pixar movies, dude, they didn't have to worry about having to make, busty ass, like sexy looking anime chick, right? They didn't that wasn't what's on their mind. They didn't have to go through that dilemma, right? But still being, badass, still being respectable, right? And that could be said at any level of the show. And then on top of all that, it's the stories. The stories are always fucking. I can't. Well, maybe I can't say always, but from what I've watched, and in most instances, they do a good job laying out a story. And obviously, some are way better than others, and some are very more about the story as opposed to maybe about, hey, the action, hey, the characters, certain aspects of the show. But I think
Yeah.
again, to reiterate, if you are ever someone who's going to be coming into this and you've heard maybe through whispers, you're sitting around the door, you're sitting around the fucking, campfire, whatever, locker room, and you boys like, oh yeah, dude, I was watching this shit, and you're kind of just like, I'm not gonna say anything because I don't know anything about it, right? But then you get home, you get that itch, and it's like, maybe I'll check this shit out, right? Got to go into it with an open
That's
mind. Initially, it's going to be
that's a
weird.
great point you bring that up. Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, sorry to cut you off, but like you just triggered my brain, right? Because it's like when you're a kid in class, right? And you always hear the teacher, they're like, I know all of you guys have the question, so it just takes one person to raise their hand to, get it going. Like if you raise your hand, you save, someone else from feeling awkward about not knowing but wanting to say
Yep,
something,
yep.
right? Like that's how I kind of fucking view anime, right? It's like, I hate to say it, I love all my family. I won't name drop anyone specifically, but people in my family, right, they do the best to listen to this, right? And they're not into anime, and they probably never will be. But I think it's more of that they're afraid to even try. You know what I mean? It's like everyone, the convenient excuse, I'm busy. I don't got time. I'm like,
You
come,
don't give it that
come on.
college try.
Come on. You're right. Yeah, exactly right. I was always told to give it the college try. Now I'm not going to get that from you guys. You know what I mean? Like, again,
Yeah, there's
I
no
don't expect. I won't name
reciprocation
drop the
between
two
what's
big
going
ones,
on.
dad and mom. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, yes, there is no reciprocation between what's going on, and it's like I understand we're at a certain age niche where we're gonna hit a wall where it's gonna be tough to get through, but right, like tell us why. Like is it just the animation? Then like, man, I'm sorry. If you're my family or listening or your friend, I gotta tell you right now, that's a lame fucking excuse. And I'm not gonna mince words. I'd say it to your face. Like that's if it's just like you're saying, right? Like you got to be able to get past that. There's so much more
Mm-hmm.
in these shows than just that. You can find one that you like. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. Like it's like a TV show, right? Yeah, we talk about them all the time. TV shows and movies. Like there's all these rave ones. It's the
Yep.
same with anime. Maybe it's a smaller fan base, but it's still pretty big. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's still
Yeah.
millions of people out
For
there.
sure.
This isn't this. This is where me and Spencer aren't going to anime clubhouses and talking with like four other people or something. You know what I mean? Like this is a huge
Uh,
market. Like there's tons of money. What? Whoa, wait. Sorry, are you doing that? My
what?
bad. Do you go hang out with
Yeah, no, you
some
shut the
some
fuck
like
up. You
anime
know what you
house
did.
conventions?
Anyways, I'm gonna cut you back off there and take back over the mic. I think what's really big about that too, and what I've heard from some people that I have brought it up to, is like, oh, well, some of these shows are dropping, hundreds of $1 million on their TV shows and their movie shows, and it's just like I don't
Yeah,
think people appreciate how much fucking money it takes to actually make an episode, let alone a season, right? You think about, oh, the 12
absolutely.
season, the
We've talked
24
about it.
season. Maybe you get that,
Uh-huh.
that rare white unicorn, white rhino. You get a 13, 15, 16 episode season or some shit. They were gonna do
Uh-huh.
24, but then it ended up working out, right? Like that's millions of dollars as well. There is a lot of money that goes into making these shows, and I think for
Yeah.
anything, bottom line, it's a business. If it wasn't profitable, they wouldn't be doing it. Obviously, because
Yep.
they're doing it and it's getting bigger and bigger, it's becoming a more
It's very
profitable thing.
profitable.
If it's becoming more
Yeah.
profitable, what does that mean?
It's more popular,
More
right?
people
More
are fucking
viewers.
watching it. Yeah, exactly. More
Yeah.
viewers. So,
So all of this to be said, drop down in the comments if you heard this first iteration of what we're saying, which we have said in other episodes, but we wanted to like kind of hammer it in right here at the very beginning before we really jump into any specific name animes or anything like that. Drop down, let us know. Like if you don't let us know, you're just as bad as all the people out there that won't say anything. You know what I mean about certain stuff and stand up for it. You don't like it, you want to be, you know what, Jason, I heard what you said, and fuck anime because of this, and this. Okay, tell me in the comments so me and Spencer can check it out and we can see what the hell's up. You know what I mean? Or on the flip side, you're like, you know what, I've been kind of nervous. Like you could DM us personally, you know what I mean? Or if you have our number, right, or Discord, whatever, right? Like send us a personal message, like, hey, I'm kind of nervous, but I want to check some out. Like, what would you recommend? I would love to. Spencer, wouldn't you? I'm assuming you would. I'd
oh
love to
yeah, dude,
recommend shows to
we're
people.
not putting anybody on blast out here, unless they
No,
deserve to be put on
unless you're
blast.
me.
But yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
you're generally my number one put on blast. No, you're right, but Uh, yeah, no, absolutely, and
Oh man.
and I think even beyond that, it's if you have thoughts into where, hey, yeah, into this, you guys are talking. I like what you're talking about. I'm here because I want to hear more about it, but at the same time, it's like, you know, here we are X amount into the show, and I don't know what the fuck you guys
Oh,
are
nice
talking about.
job.
I don't
Nice
know where
job.
we're
I thought you
where
got a
we're
list of time
going.
there.
I don't know what we're trying to get into. And hey, that's something we're working on. This is new. A lot of this is kind of, like we've mentioned, not to degrade or take away from what we're doing. A lot of this is the wing it shit, dude. We're the wing it show, bro.
Yep.
We're out here. This is we spent forever in parties online, gaming, just chopping it up, and it's like
These are almost revisited conversations
over
in a
years
lot
you
of
have
ways.
different people coming in and out, in and out, in and out. It's like, oh, you guys should do this, you guys should do that. Oh, you guys fucking good rapport, chopping it up, getting to get, and it's like, well, fuck, you see everybody out here, all who doesn't have a fucking podcast now, right? And so
Who does it?
now
Yeah.
you're like, all right, well, what do we need to do to make this shit work, to make it happen? So we might as well get into it. But I think, yeah, we're working on trying to make it more of a focused, concerted effort on what we're doing, but at the same time, still trying to keep the, hey, this isn't going to be some fucking robotic, super scripted, like, oh, dude,
This is our
hey,
show.
A,
We're us.
B, C, D, E, fucking bullet point after bullet point shit, right? Shit comes up, he's trying to interrupt me, I interrupt him, you got thoughts that come up when you start hearing other points. So, that's always going to be a kind of a focus at it. But at the same time, we are working at more trying to ensure that we're staying true to the main focus, that we always want to go back into, okay, hey, we're talking about this, we're going back to that, but then how does that equate to your average viewer? How can we make somebody else be interested in what we're talking about? And I think one of the first things when you start talking about
Nailed it.
anime, there's a lot of different terminology, a lot of different things that are going on. There's arcs and seasons, and all the different show terminologies from an animation standpoint. And then you even get into a more micro level or macro level, and it's like, oh, okay, hey, well, now you're talking about, there's certain seasons within the seasons, right? I'm not just talking about season 1, season 2,
Yep.
season 3 of the show. I'm talking about,
Mm-hmm.
okay, hey, now we got fucking, for instance, right now we're coming to the winter season. Maybe I'm talking about spring season, summer season, right? You talk about the actual seasons when these shows are being released, because they're pretty much very similar to a business esque standpoint. It's almost essentially like on a quarter basis, right? You got your fall,
Right. So this is
winter,
Q1, right?
spring, summer. Yeah, exactly.
That's a fair point. So, like Spencer's alluding to here, we got, there's a bunch of different terminology, and he said it right now, winter 2023, Q1, however you want to, think about it. That's what we're in right now. And we alluded to this to the show before. We didn't have the time to get to it because we were just chopping up about music forever, which we love and could do maybe not a million episodes about it, but a lot. So the winter 2023 season, you could find lists, right? Probably a lot of places. I mean, I don't know if Crunchyroll specifically lays it out like that, or like a Funimation or anything like that. Do you know that before we talk about what we're looking at it on? Like if
Yeah,
people are out here
well,
and they want to look at other lists aside from what we're looking
yeah,
at.
Funimation is kind of that's a tricky one, because now I don't know what's happening with them. They're on the ropes. They got bought out. They're still around. And they're still doing some shows. Some shit's coming out on them. But they did used to have the scheduled page. Not necessarily. I don't think it would
Oh, schedule,
forecast
not
specifically out into which
winter or
seasons,
whatever.
but to be like, okay, hey, this is a
Yeah.
weekly schedule of what's going to be coming out and shit. And Crunchyroll just
Okay.
redid their, at least on Xbox, just redid their entire like
They
app and
did.
shit. So I think it
Mm-hmm.
looks nice. I think it's a lot better now than it was
It is nicer.
previously. The better subtopics, subgenres, things that you can find it, different things that you can go into if you're
I
looking
know we
for
used to
that.
complain about that too,
Yeah, I think they're
right?
they're
All
starting
the
to
time.
factor in more of like what made Funimation kind of the number one go to, and they're like, all right,
Mm-hmm.
well, now we need to implement that into our shit, right? Which, rightly so. You bought them out, you might as well, you should.
I was just
So,
about to say, I was thinking in my head, same thing. It's like you fucking bottom out,
yeah,
you better take over all their good ideas. Like
yeah,
fuck.
you know what I mean. So, from that standpoint, though, I don't think Crunchyroll. I mean, obviously, you go Crunchyroll online, the website, and you're doing it on a computer. That's a lot different than what you're gonna see, on
Yeah.
an app or anything like that. So
Or
I
desktop. Mm-hmm.
yeah, so I'm sure they have
Oh,
something
sorry. You're
very
saying
similar.
from the app to compare the desktop. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
definitely
yeah.
different. My bad. So we're talking about, and actually, this is a callback, right? We've we've talked shit about this particular website, only because the rating system's kind of whack. I would say. I won't speak for Spencer, but it's my anime list.
Oh
If you're
yeah.
curious,
First show you're gonna talk about? This
yeah.
whack, whack.
We'll talk about that for a couple of reasons. It'll be funny here, but myanimelist.net. So you guys, because a lot of people just put .com right away. myanimelist.net. To be fair, they do have a good website as far as in the depths of the shows you can see and how it's kind of laid out. Like if you want to see fall 2022, bang, it's there. 23, spring, summer, schedule, archives, TV, ONA, which we don't even know what we were talking about the other day. I have no idea what that is. OVAs, movies, specials. You can filter it by kid, R18 plus, in my region. So from that standpoint, I don't know how long they've been around, but I think we said it in the first episode, so you can go back and check that out if you want to listen to it. And I think, what was it? GG was his initials. Was it like Gareth
Uh,
something? Can't remember.
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
We
whatever.
told them to be
Anyways,
better. We told them to be better. We were talking shit. Yeah, we lost a sponsor,
maybe they're
but
being better now. Maybe they heard
potential
us.
Spencer.
No, I'm
Yeah,
just
yeah, yeah. I don't know. I wasn't really in depth into it
potential
at that point.
potential sponsor.
I've had my account
My
and
anime
my
list,
list
if you're
done
hearing.
for years, but
Yeah.
I haven't updated in years.
In years. So yeah. So if you guys want to see what we're talking about, you can get right on into the search bar, type this in, go to winter 2023, and you can see exactly what we're talking about while you're listening. We do recommend that. Not necessarily that's like the. I'd say that's probably the best way, but you don't have to do that to get along with this show.
And I
But
think
yeah,
too
like Spencer
for
alluded
those who
to. Oh, go
don't
ahead.
have
Yeah,
those who don't have the mindset of a genius,
access
right?
maybe.
Obviously,
Oh,
no, yeah,
oh.
chill out, bro. Hey, hey, this 2023, dude. We got access for everything. Homeless people have cell phones. The smartphones at that. My anime list is going to then contribute or transfer over to MAL or mall, a mall list. So if you're out here
Oh.
on the
Mm-hmm.
forums or on the social media and people are like, "Oh, well, send me your mall, bro. Like, let me see your fucking list. You ain't got shit on me, right?" That's what they're talking about. They're trying to big dick you up on like, "Hey, look at my list
Yeah.
versus your list," right? Like, "Hey, we're out here. We're trying to share knowledge. We're trying to give you." I was out there and I was talking about shit. Some dude like maul me. I'm like, "Oh, you gonna maul me? It's MAUL, dumb fuck, right?" He's like, "No, my anime list, you idiot." I'm like, "Oh, yeah, okay."
Oh,
So
which is
we're
funny in itself to
yeah,
me.
little
Like
tidbits.
that's little tidbits. That's fucking funny. I don't even think I remember you saying that. Um, yeah, without further ado, the first show that's on this list is funny for many reasons because Spencer hates me and won't watch any more anime because I recommended this first season to him so heavily. And I did say it was like really, really good. I tried to I compared it to one of his favorite shows, Kingdom, as far as like a historical standpoint, some of the savagery. So I did, in his mind, oversell it. But this is something that's talked about all over Twitter, whether you want to acknowledge it or not.
Mm,
People love this show.
mhm,
Vinland Saga season 2 is out.
mhm.
It's on Crunchyroll. It's on Netflix. This is one that I kind of find that's on a lot of the stuff. I don't know if it's on like Amazon or anything else, but it's definitely not just on Crunchyroll or High Dive, which is something that I didn't really realize had its just own shows that wouldn't be on other shit. So I'm gonna have to. There's a whole list of fucking anime out there I haven't seen. But the funniest thing to me, because I bet you if we pull up One Piece, it's fucking like right next to it, if not damn near a little bit higher, which is ridiculous. Vinland Saga 2 is rated at 8.78, 311,000 viewers or people on this shit. Like, wow. I think
Yeah,
it's a good show. I don't think it's that good.
more like 311,000 crybabies, dude. You fucking little bitch maids out
Tell them
here.
why. Elaborate a little bit more without ruining the show, obviously, for
Oh god,
anyone.
it's so hard to not ruin the show and bring up my
Maybe
gripes.
we
I
gotta
mean,
ruin a
like,
show every once in a
you
while,
know, you
dude.
gotta
Like,
be,
bring up a gripe.
hey, yeah, you be throwing a spoiler alert or something in there. No, I mean,
Okay,
I,
hey,
I think
spoiler
for the
alert.
most part,
Do not
the
listen anymore.
show, the show is definitely there. There's a lot of solid aspects to it. What I hate is the main character, and maybe that changes in season two, and hopefully that's reflective in this ridiculous score that as a paired, you know, opposed to what you see other really good shows that you're like, dude, this was a fucking lights out show. This is a 10 out of 10. They
Mm-hmm.
just killed that
Yeah.
fucking dive. They just killed that dance routine. The 10 out of 10 esque score, 8.7 for this shit. I think even too season one was relatively high. Maybe I'm mistaken, but I think I recall when we were looking at
I think you're
previously,
right.
it was pretty high, and I was just like, hey, this was it was solid. It was solid. What really killed it and would have made it put it over the top for me is if you had a main character who wasn't such a baby back bitch, dude. Like Thorfinn, bro. You nut the fuck up or shut the fuck up, bro. I
Shut the
don't need to
fuck up.
hear you fucking whining your whole fucking 24 run first fucking season, bro. Like at some point in time it needs to trip. You're talking about all these
uh,
other
I
episodes,
really
all these
shouldn't
other
laugh about
shows
it.
and shit. They only get 12 episodes.
Uh,
So their characters got to mature a lot quicker than you had to mature, and that's not beyond me, but at the same time, right? It was just overkill on the fucking oh man, yeah. So
yeah.
really, and it was literally to the last fucking episode 24, like starts out, and he's like, oh, I'm so angry. And like, get your shit together, dude. Like, fucking A.
So for you guys listening, Spencer probably wouldn't recommend Vinland Saga for you. It's solid, but it's not something that he's gonna be like, yeah, go watch it. I, on the other hand, would say that Spencer made a great point. It does hit on a good amount of stuff. It's pretty cool. But yeah, the main character could kill it for you. It didn't necessarily. After talking about it, I kind of came to Spencer's point, like, okay, like no, that makes sense. But it didn't affect me the same way it affected him. So that's a new one. I mean, a new season, and that's something we kind of talked about too, right? We counted the number of shows on here. 54 technically. I'm not counting one of them, but
Oh yeah,
53. There's 53 shows
gang of new shows.
this season. What's up?
A gang of new shows. I think out of that
Gang of new shows.
the
Yeah.
54 minus the one that you're not counting, right? There's probably only less than 10 that are like
That are
season
brand
2
new, right?
shows.
Oh
Well,
yeah,
no, yeah, yeah. That
new.
are reoccurring as in going into season 2 or season 3
I
or
get what you
whatever,
mean.
right? And
Okay,
so there's at least
okay,
40 shows these are brand new shows coming out this year. So that's 40
yeah,
potential shows that nobody's ever seen that you might be like, "Hey, fuck anime." Maybe this show changes it for you. Maybe this show is the one that
yep,
gets you on board. 40 potential options for that to happen right now.
yeah. That's a great point. That I'm glad you tied that in because that we were talking about it before off air, and Spencer made a great point. He's like, we're looking at this list, and I was like, fuck, man, there's so many shows. He's like, well, you got to keep in mind that these are, like right here, Bungo Stray Dogs, 4th season, and on top of it, this show had a hiatus for a little bit
Mhm.
before they came out with the 4th season. So there's we could sit in here and try to talk about all these shows, but then this podcast would be like 9 hours fucking long. We like we said it before, we keep it to about an hour, and that could change in the future, but that's our goal now. So as I look down the list, I've told you off air some that caught my eye, and I think that's kind of how we're going to do it. If you go through this list and you thought we didn't mention something we should have mentioned, you already know the protocol here. Go in those comments, let us know. Be like, hey, like maybe you didn't talk about this one. I thought this was really good. We'd love to interact with you guys about that. But I'll lead off with me, like, and it's actually right at the top, or second row, near Autonoma version 1.1a. catches my
Yeah,
eye right away.
you're gonna immediately sound like a scrub because you don't know what this is.
Oh, okay. Well, I love being a scrub, so
Not
I only read like
necessarily
the very top part.
the show in and of itself. This is a new anime show, but if I'm not mistaken, this is
Go
coming
ahead.
from a fairly popular anime, or not anime. Jesus Christ, video game,
Oh, see, you embarrass yourself.
and
Oh, you did mention this the other day. My
yeah,
bad.
I was
What
telling
video
you,
game?
this
Is it the
is
same name?
some shit. I think it's pretty same. Yeah, it's like the same name, maybe a little
Similar. Okay.
not version 1.1.8. I think the main character chick is called 1B, or 1A or something. No, I think it's 1B,
Okay.
and people are super obsessed with her fucking ass and just her body in general. You're making, yeah, this is what I'm saying. You're making me have to go through Reddit a little more, and I'm all of a sudden discovering all these new things. A couple
uh,
months in, I'm like, wow, this is like a whole new world right now. I didn't know this shit existed. And she comes up a lot in the anime esque, posts and channels. Or no, they
Mm,
don't even call them channels. The
okay.
subreddits and shit. So
Yeah, yeah. You're
I'm
learning
getting
terminology.
more and more versed as I go through there. But yeah, no, this is a lot of people love this chick. A lot of people love that game. They're super stoked. This is now going to be a show. Um,
Okay.
so
I didn't
yeah,
know that. I mean, I know you
yeah.
alluded to it, but yeah, I'm glad you re-mentioned it. Yeah, so in the past we've read the whole thing, like the little excerpt of the shows. If I would say you should go on. You should go on and read it yourself because it's set in the distant future, 5012. That's what I'll say. And the character looks cool, looks futuristic. The picture definitely catches my eye. I can't really see her ass in this, but I'll take Spencer's word for it. That all you guys out there are really obsessed with what 1A is her name potentially 1A
I
1B.
think it's 1B. Yeah.
Um, yeah, looks cool. Looks really cool. Yeah, January 8th, 2023. Doesn't have episode amount. 23-minute show on Crunchyroll. Does it catch your eye a little bit? It's got 7.48 for those that care that are listening and have a
Yeah, I
now.
mean, just from what I've seen on Reddit, I'm kind of like, there's probably other shit,
Okay.
that's.
Oh, not fair.
But it's not something I wouldn't, just there. I think there's other stuff I would rather.
Yeah. Well, as you go through, is there anything in particular?
Well, I mean, obviously, besides the recurrent shows that we watch, you mentioned the Bungo Stray Dogs for me, obviously, Misfit the Demon Academy, you got Beaufries
Yep.
going on there. You got
Beaufry. Mm-hmm.
Inspector, Inspectra's back
Which I
on.
haven't watched. I think I kind of want to watch that one.
Yeah, yeah.
I think it
There's a
might be
number
it
of them.
tonight.
Even too, is it wrong to pick up Girls in a Dungeon? I picked that one up late,
Love that
later
show.
in. It was like midway. I think season 3 or season 2 was almost over when I started watching that shit. And I was like, oh fuck, okay, this shit hits. But
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of new ones, like we were mentioning. There's one thing that initially caught my eye, which didn't necessarily catch my eye in terms of I want to watch it, but that I saw it as a show was the Trigun Stampede. Just because one of the
Oh,
first
yep.
shows that I
The
watched,
old Trigun.
early on, with older
Mm-hmm.
brother back in the day, was the original Trigun, and now I'm like, what? These motherfuckers are trying to remake this shit right now? Like, I don't got no time for this. Like, how dare you guys try to remake this? But I haven't watched it. Apparently, it's got a pretty
I have
solid
to cut you
rating so
off.
far.
I have to cut you off, dude. Can you read? You have to read the first part of this Trigun Stampede. Do you see that name?
Yeah. And oh
That
wow.
name doesn't ring any bells to you?
No, yeah, they both names do. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, I know.
That's hilarious. I didn't even know.
And until you get to the
People are gonna
third
be
name on
confused.
there beyond that, right, where it's somebody the Stampede, that's the first name that rings a bell for me. But yeah, I don't know. It was just weird in and of itself that they again, number one, tried to
Roberto De
remake.
Niro.
Yeah. Yeah, and Meryl Strife.
Yeah, Janora Rock. Like, what are they trying to do? Anyways, I'm sorry, but yeah, it's
So, anyways,
that just probably fucked me up.
it's a thing, yeah, chill the fuck out, bro. The whole thing we're getting into is that, hey, they're trying to remake a classic. I don't know. Maybe it's good. Maybe it's
Yes.
not. Now all of a sudden, you start reading into it. I didn't even read into it. I just saw the title. I was like, these motherfuckers. But
Yeah.
you know,
That's funny. It
the,
looks
the
cool. I mean, based
yeah.
off the picture. And I know the old one's good. I actually haven't watched the old one.
No, there's a lot of ones that look pretty, pretty solid into this. You have to see kind of what happens going on. I think obviously you must be in love with this season, Winter 23. I mean, there's like fucking 20
Like
different,
10 isekais. Yeah, or 20 different
isekai. Yeah, it's
isekais.
gotta
Oh,
be at least 20. I mean,
you
fuck,
know
dude.
I'm pumped up, dude. I'm looking at all of them like, which one do I watch? Like, oh my
Dude, how do
god.
I fit these all in, right? How much time do I call off?
Uh, hey, how dare you? I don't call time off to watch anime. I would never. I would never do something like that. Um, yeah, like we said, we can sit here forever talking about them. I mean, as far as brand new ones go, you're watching one right now, right? That's a brand new show.
Yep, yep, just came out. Well, I've tried two of them so far. I think
Yeah.
where I'm at in both of them so far, not super impressed. This is
Okay.
obviously still pretty early into, and one of them watching the Handyman Saito in Another World, and it started off cool, and then episode two was kind of like man, and then episode three kind of like half man, half like okay. I haven't watched it since then, and then shit, I don't even remember what this other one, some Cold Steel or some shit.
Oh yeah, the Northern War. Yeah.
Yeah, I watched the
I
first
know. Where
couple
is
ones
it?
of
Yeah, The
that
Legend of
too.
Heroes. Trails of
So
Cold Steel, Northern War. That's what it's
those are
called.
really the only ones
Yeah.
that I've gotten into as far as new ones, and it's always kind of a hit and miss, right? That's the one thing I'd say, and it's probably realistic for any type of show, right? Is like unless there's some real meat to get into it, it might take you unless it fucking bangs right off the get, right out the starting line, right? You're like
Right the
boom,
Ripper.
just
Hmm.
ripping down, the track, and you're just like, holy shit, I'm fucking I'm in this. I'm
I'm
here
in.
for I'm here for 12 episodes. I
Yeah.
don't give a fuck. I'm staying up all night. I don't give a fuck. I'm going into work super tired. I'm gonna pass out. Everyone's gonna hate me. Whatever, right? Like I gotta watch this shit. I gotta see what happens next. I haven't hit one of those for a while here now. So,
Yeah. That's fair.
and
I'm
in the
trying to
season,
think.
I
Yeah,
haven't
as you're
found one
saying
yet.
that, which one? Okay. Yeah. Good point. Fair point. Is there even a show in here that's like that? Like even a reoccurring one that was like, hey, yep,
That we
instantly.
just
Like, I mean,
that just
Bofree would
rip
be the
it.
closest for me,
Yeah, well, for
I
me, that's
think,
a little
unless I'm
bit.
mistaken.
I
Yeah,
mean,
that just ripped it.
a lot of the longer running ones, right? I started watching earlier on, so it became a fucking week to week
Hmm.
thing. But I mean,
Yeah.
one that kind of initially catches my eye is um kind of the Great Snow Sea. That one looks like it might be interesting. Doesn't have a
That
great
one, yeah, I was telling you,
rating
yeah, I
so
was kind of
far,
interested in
but
that one. No,
um
6.91. I know, kind of weak.
but something like that with it is how the background is, kind of with the description of it, that is alluring in it of itself.
I'll read the description. I like this one because to cut you off again. Sorry, I'm just such in a bad habit doing that. People
Yeah,
are
dude,
loving,
typical.
even though you haven't seen it. Yeah. Typical, my ass. Fucking people are loving it. I'm loving it. I know, you make fun of me for loving it. And I can't even think of the name because my brain just blew up on me.
Why is
The
that?
Last of Us.
Why does your brain just blow
Why
up
is
on you?
why is that? Because I eat lots of sandwiches.
Got it.
You got it. You picking up what I'm putting
Yeah,
down?
a lot of spinach, lettuce with the sandwiches.
Tons, dude. Maybe a little too much. But I don't think you can overdose on eating too much spinach, so
No, no,
should be okay.
no,
No, could never. Um, the Last of Us,
no.
super
Try.
popular show, right? And I think, fuck you. Moving on. popular shows and popular movies, unless you think I'm mistaken here, are like apocalyptic ones, right?
Yep,
I
yep.
think those are really popular.
Oh, especially now more than ever.
So
We're having to shoot
more
down
than ever, right? Yeah.
UFOs, or for you stupid people,
Yeah,
Chinese
weather
balloons,
balloons.
whatever. Yeah.
I know my buddy Randy was telling me that he's like before the Super Bowl, he's like, dude, they shot down the third one, and I was like, dude, should we like, do we gotta get ready? Like, get the guns out, dude.
Like towards
Like,
the end of the Super Bowl, they hit like the fourth one. There was like four of them in
you
like the
right?
fucking 2-3 days times. Michigan, literally the FAA shut down the airspace, shut down the fucking entire
Wow.
airspace for everything, for all states and all airports around the Great Lakes, because they didn't know what the fuck this shit was. And then all of a sudden, the White House comes out and was like, "Oh, this is not UFOs, not UFOs." I'm like, "You're telling me we're just gonna fucking suspend?" And that could be true, since after COVID, airlines don't give a shit about us anymore. They're like, "Hey, whatever. Well, fuck you guys. Like, you're fucking nothing to us.
Sucks you gotta stay here all
Yeah,
night.
we're gonna get bailed
Yeah.
out anyways, dude. We're like fucking student loans, and we're Freddie Mac, Sally Mae all over again. These scumbags."
Tell me what you really think of those people now.
Yeah, fucking.
Oh, we could talk about that forever if we did. But yeah, right. Apocalyptic stuff. Like people are really into that. This
Mhm.
show, like
Yep.
Spencer brought up, great point. At first glance, I'll read it. A world blanketed in endless and ever-growing ocean of snow. The people eke out a living, either huddled around the roots of enormous trees dotting the surface, or in the high canopy which spreads over the planet's atmosphere. That right there, I'm like, gotta know more. Like what? Like
Mhm.
endless winter and these big trees that people are like, yeah. Like it catches my eye, caught your eye, right? It's called Kenia of the Great Snow Sea. That's a brand new one as far as I'm concerned. I don't think this is like a season 2 or anything.
No, no, it's brand new.
Brand new, right? Okay, so that's something that me and Spencer probably here will watch, and look forward to an episode down the road where we'll kind of talk about it. I'm sure we will if we like it or not.
And now that I'm thinking
Um,
about it from we're
yeah.
out here saying new episode, brand new shit. I I I would be willing to bet quite a bit of money that the majority of these shows that are now becoming anime have obviously trans transferred from previously being either a manga or a light novel. So there might be people that are actually very
Or even a
familiar
video
with
game.
and know, yeah, no, great point. That are familiar with the story, know what happens, and all of that stuff, right? So
You're
somebody
probably
like
right.
that,
I mean, you
give
know
more
about that
credence.
shit. I
Yeah,
don't
give
really.
more credence to what the story's gonna like be what it plays out as. I think a lot of it too is just like how we are, with, but I say we, but from an out of anime standpoint, how people are as
Hmm.
far as taking a book that then gets translated into a theater film. People are super
Yeah.
critical. Oh, they're not following the book. They're not in this book. There was this, that, right? Not following the source material, right? And I think that's a really big thing that comes up in anime as well, and why a lot of animes that might have been solid don't survive is because people are so stuck on and so critical on how well they follow and abide to the source material, which is then obviously your manga or light novel, as to how it's being adapted to the big screen or to an anime-esque show.
Yeah. And it's a great point. Great point. Because we talked about it in a previous episode, right? We talked about Lord of the Rings and how the TV show, they ripped on it because it wasn't exactly like, the Second Age isn't like this. And, da, da, da. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, right? And I think you are too, but I'm a huge fucking Lord of the Rings fan. Love the movies, love The
Mm,
Hobbit, love
yeah.
all that shit. Didn't read the books, but like, I think it's great, the TV show. And so when I'm sitting here seeing people talking about shit, I'm like, what in the fuck are you talking about? But I get, to be fair, everyone's different, right? If they like the light novel or manga or a manhwa, right? They're gonna want to see that, and so I can't necessarily knock them for them being like, hey, this isn't really like it. But at the same time, like, wouldn't you, as the person reading this, like you're probably talking to a niche crowd of people. Wouldn't you want more people to be engaged with and talking about it? Well, you're going to have to make some
Mhm.
concessions, I would say. You know
Yep.
what I mean? Which might be, hey, it's not going to be 100% based off of, the original text. It's going to be, right, what we call it all the time for movies. It's going to be Hollywooded up, right? It's going to, like, they got to put little bells and whistles on it to try to appeal to more of a crowd. And like you said it perfectly earlier. They're making shit tons of fucking hand over fist money on this shit. So it's getting more popular. They're getting the viewers. How do we encourage you guys out there to listen more? Like, give us feedback, right? Like, give us a comment, reach out. Maybe you want to talk to Spencer more. Like, Jason doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. Hey, Spencer, and he'll answer. Or maybe you're like, Spencer seems like, dude, he might rip my head off if I recommend a shitty show, and he has, and he totally has. He's done that to me.
What?
So, hey, you want to reach out to easygoing Jason who'll
Don't
watch
tell
30
me
shows at
stupid
one time?
shows.
You want to reach out to me? Reach out to me. Like, we're both willing to help you. And obviously being joking. Spencer is a great guy. He'll let you know how it is right away. I might not actually have the answer. Spencer's a little bit better on his end. Like he says, he watches the shows, he gets them all the way through, and I always get so embarrassed sometimes. I'll be like, yeah, I remember the show and da-da-da's name, and he'll be like, yeah, blah, 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 say the name, and then I'll be like, oh yeah, that name. He's like, fucking idiot. I'm just like, whoopsie daisy. I'm that dog, you know what I mean? I'm like, squirrel. Like, I just fucking, my attention span sadly isn't what it used to be. Could be because of all that spinach, but who knows. Um, any show like you sorry, I know you said a show, but I couldn't remember if that was like the one that you're gunning for. As I'm going through this list, I just had it here. Of course, I kept scrolling. There's one that caught my eye, and I was just kind of curious if you had seen it. And oh yeah, no, I told you about it, and I think I'm gonna maybe check it out tonight. Revenger.
Yeah,
Shitty
no,
rating.
yeah, I had.
6.79.
Yeah, well, I mean, that seems to be pretty solid
And
for
we don't
the
always put.
mall
Oh yeah,
listing,
fair
but
enough.
yeah, no,
Yeah,
I had seen that one on there. I hadn't necessarily, um, I don't know, just for the picture alone, and that's what obviously I'm watching other shit right now too, so I wasn't really looking for another show, but I did see that pop up in the newly updated list, and I was like,
yeah,
oh shit, what's this, right? But kind of, fairly generic picture. I was like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, well, it's not in this. It wasn't really calling to me as to like, hey, watch this shit now, but yeah,
yeah.
potentially
Honestly, the
something.
show next to it. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Potentially something. Yeah, yeah. I'm
hmm
with you. It looks cool. And I want to kind of take a stab at this. When you looked at the picture, does it give you more of like a comedy kind of vibe, and that's why you weren't dead set on it, or
I don't know if
no?
it was a
Was it just
comedy
what?
vibe.
What
It
about the
was just
picture?
more kind of like a
Yeah.
generic. I'm not looking at it right now. I can't remember what the fucking. Let me see if I can
Okay.
pull it up real quick.
Okay.
But
That's fair. That's
it
fair.
it was like it's like a dude with a sword and like in like samurai
Ye-
times or some shit. I'm just like
yeah, which has been played up for
and
sure.
it's not
Well,
bad.
right
I
next
love
to
my
it,
samurai shit, but
yeah, absolutely. Right next to it, High Card is kind of. My eye keeps drawing to it. I don't know if I've seen it on Crunchyroll there, but it says it's on there. It's right
yeah,
next to
I don't
Revenger.
know that that's one that I have noticed on there, but um.
Do you read? Have you read the little thing
If
there?
I
Check it
was
out, dude. Like
I
I'm.
don't have it up right now. Yeah, when I think about,
I'll
you
read it
immediately
then.
say high card. I'm like, oh, is this some fucking card game? Was it some Yu-Gi-Oh show or some shit?
Yeah, I mean, there you go. I mean, your mind's working pretty good here. I'll read the little intro. Tell me what you think. After discovering that his orphanage was on the brink of closing due to financial stress, Finn, who is living freely on the streets, set out for a casino with the aim of making a fortune.
Mm.
However,
Oh, that kind of card.
however, right, kind of cool. However, nothing could have prepared Finn for the nightmare that was awaiting him. I won't even read the rest of it. There's a little bit more,
Yeah,
but just
I'm
like
kind
that
of,
right there.
just off the rip initially on edge just because his name's Finn, Thorfinn. Oh, jeez, God, it's so
Ah,
close. I'm like, I'm
you're
gonna
having
hate it. I'm
flashbacks
gonna hate
here.
it. I'm gonna hate it. No, no. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's for sure interesting. I don't know. It kind of sounds more like it'd be like a kind of crime mob, esque movie, which
Yeah,
that
it does.
I
Yeah.
appreciate that. I could be into that, so it might be something, once it I don't think that'd be something I would watch right now with only a couple episodes out or however many episodes are out. that'd probably be something
Probably.
I would
Yeah.
definitely wait till it finished, and then if it's worthwhile, I'll
What
binge
binge
that
it?
shit or continue to watch it. Otherwise,
Mhm.
I'll be like, nah, I'll let Jason know he's got another shitty show on fucking list.
Okay. Okay. Fans, we're going to need you on this because we're going to start saying shows that we like. We need you to like, oh, Jason said he liked this one. I go check it out. And if it sucks, you just
Wrong,
say it. So we can
wrong,
start adding this
wrong.
list up because I'm going to be ahead of Spencer. I already know it. He's trying to speak too much to one little crowd. Okay. I'm thinking of all of you out there. All right. I'm taking in the breadth of this content. That's right. That. I'm taking in all this content so I can give you my honest opinion initially. Could you get into it?
Yeah.
Because
He only cares
you
about
need to
your
watch the whole
initial
thing to
thought.
be fair to a
He
show.
doesn't care
Well,
about
but
your
that's all
real
that
thoughts
people.
and your ongoing thoughts. He's just,
That's
"Hey,
I did
I'm here for
not
the
say
immediate.
that.
Remember, squirrel, squirrel, squirrel." He only cares about
Squirrel.
the first opinion, the first thought.
The
After
whole
that,
world only
whatever.
cares about immediate
Go and
gratification, and you
die.
know that.
Go and die.
um, but I I can't even think right now. You're nailing my personality to a T. Stop exposing me to everyone out here. But yeah, we said there's 53 shows, 54. I mean, what's this one down at the bottom? I said I wasn't counting. Boku to Raboku. Funny name. 3-minute episodes came out in 2022, so it's not even 2023. So if you're someone that likes that show and you think I should have it on the list, let me know. But I'm going to not have that on the list. So 53 shows. I mean, we've only even talked about what, like 5?
Yeah, no,
Like
well,
we
I
could,
mean, outside of the recurring next season ones that are
yeah,
starting back up again. But yeah, no, there's a lot of new ones. I mean, and then you think about that, hey, these are just the ones we're talking about, and even if you just go on, you look at this one for Winter 23, and you kind of scanning through the shows, like, stupid, stupid, stupid picture looks dumb, dumb, dumb. Oh, maybe this picture looks good to read it. Nah, I'm not sure about it. Hey, this is just one season. You still got spring,
yeah.
still got summer,
Mm-hmm.
still got fall.
Mm-hmm.
Lot, and it's the same thing. I'd say, maybe not exact number, but fairly close number as to how many are coming out each season, or bringing business term, each quarter. So a lot of opportunity for some shit to be coming out that you might start digging, you might start getting into, right? And I think with how things are going from an anime standpoint, it's like what you mentioned earlier, starting to get more adult. They're starting to, kind of focus
Yeah,
in more on adult content, and
absolutely.
and I would say that's not by mistake. You think how when anime really first started and how it started getting its grasp and becoming more acceptable, more popular. It was with the kids who are now adults in their 30s, 35s, 40s, whatever, right?
Yeah.
And now they still want to be able to be part of that. They still want to see shows that, hey, maybe, yeah, now I'm older and I'm not all about like the silly funny comedy shit and the gag humor, kind of shit like that. I want something that's a little more serious, more mature, more my speed, right? And they're definitely starting to cater more to that crowd, right? And then obviously as where we're at and we start to get older, and obviously now here we are trying to be proponents of this genre, of this show, of this anime,
Yeah.
movement. It's going to
Go
continue to
isekai.
build like that, right? We not saying no isekai. Isekai definitely they have their.
No, I said go isekai. No, my bad. I said
Oh,
go isekai.
oh, oh,
Go
right,
like
right,
you're
right,
like
right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm throwing my rep out behind it.
Yeah, no, for sure, for sure,
You brought
right?
fair
Yeah.
points.
But yeah, so I mean,
Yeah.
you're definitely going to see that aspect of it continue, if not grow. But again, I can't reiterate enough. You're coming into this. If you made it this far with us, and you're 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 open minded already. If you were able to make it this far into the
Yeah,
fucking pod, dude, and you've
absolutely.
listened from start to beginning, right? Like you are already prepared. You had, you fucking God, what do the senseis call their fucking little pupils? I can't even think of it right now, right? I was gonna pretend to be a sensei and
Oh,
be like,
I was about to
"Oh,
say
young,
Padawan
yo,
learner, but
yo,
that's
yo,
fucking
yo,
Star
young
Wars.
grasshopper, you are ready to take the next step, right?
Uh,
Go and choose show and watch show, right? Like that's what you gotta do right now.
yeah.
Like go out there.
All
Maybe
right,
it's the
Daniel,
older
son.
show, maybe it's a fucking, maybe it's a newish show, right? Whatever really catches your eye, just go out there, give it a shot, fucking watch an episode, watch 2 episodes, 3 episodes. You can generally get a pretty good feel on what the show is going to be within like 1 to 3, 1 to 5 episodes. If honestly, by the time you get to episode 4, episode 5, if that's just not vibing with you, if you're not really feeling it, chances are
Turn
it's
it
probably,
off.
yeah, it's not going to
Yeah.
be the one that you know you're going to be able to get into. And maybe that doesn't have to be a permanent thing. That could just be like, hey, I don't feel it right now, I'm not into it in this moment, but maybe after I delve a little bit deeper into this, it works, right? So
Yeah. Absolutely.
open-mindedness is all I can fucking
That's the
push.
key word. You nailed it, man. And that's, going from the beginning of the show to the end of the show. We're trying to get you guys to, open your minds. That's a great point. Maybe that's the title of the show. Who knows? Next week,
The language of the
we're gonna have
spirit.
our buddy Dylan on. You don't like my titles? Make them yourself, damn it. Next week, we're gonna have another interview for you guys. It's our buddy Dylan. We mentioned at the beginning of the show. It's gonna be honestly a good take because, as far as I'm concerned, and Spencer knows him a bit here too. I don't think he watches anime at all. So it's gonna be really interesting to see his take on it and see if we can convince him to watch
Fresh
something.
fresh
Hopefully,
ears, fresh eyes.
fresh ears, fresh eyes. First time. Oh,
Yo,
wait,
yo,
what's that
yo,
phrase? Long time
hashtag
listener, first time
hashtag
caller.
that shit, dude. Hashtag fresh ears, fresh eyes, bro. We're
Hashtag it.
we're starting that
Fresh
shit.
ears, fresh eyes. And we're gonna try to get some of our old, can't even think of the word, interviewees
Yeah, we
on
got
the
we got
show.
to
We're
check up on
asking them
Patrick.
about, check up on Anthony too, see what they've been watching, see what they think,
Mhm.
if anything's
Mhm.
changed. We talked about winter 2023. Like we said, go on to My Anime List or Mal, not Mall. We're not trying to maul people. We're trying to mal people.
Yep, yep.
Get on there, see what we're talking about. Let us know. Give us some feedback. Spencer, you want to give a closing message to these people out here?
Yeah, yeah. No, definitely thought I already did that. Let me see. What other wise
Oh,
words?
no anime socials or anything like that? Okay, whatever. It's fine. We're a work in
Yeah,
progress
no,
here.
I mean, you're like
Spencer's just
wise
not
words,
confident.
so I
Words for the wiser? Yeah.
yeah, no, I assume you're trying to leverage, my thoughts, my brain, my education. I didn't realize you wanted me to do some robot shit, but um, yeah. Hit us on the socials, dude. We're out there on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, bro. Highly animated P, highly animated pod. You know,
Okay. Well, I'm just gonna go fuck myself.
yeah, you
Uh, all right.
bitch.
Well,